back, viewers, to turn 5. So it's all happening. This is going to be a big turn. So if you've survived the first 4 battle reports, this is turn 5, and we'll get on with the action. So the losses so far, the Russians have lost both their artillery batteries to charging French infantry at those 2 positions there in the Fleches, but they still have very healthy infantry defending them. So the French still have their work cut out for them. The Russians are still holding the main objectives, the 2 defensive positions. So we're up to turn 5. Things are really happening. The Russian Uhlans and the French Hussars are facing off, while the infantry have all formed square in those positions. So it's going to be an interesting skirmish phase to see who can gain some momentum and win the initiative. French dragoons are also ready to pounce.
Step 2, the skirmish phase.
The skirmish phase. Oops. We'll tally those up. Hard to roll 6s. So the French have won the initiative, but no extra momentum.
Oh, yes. I must do something. It is the intervention phase.
The Russian general decides that he's going to intervene here and add D3 extra momentum. So he'll forego his chance to re-roll rally rolls. So extra momentum, 3 extra momentum for the Russians. So the Russians are going to be starting with 9 momentum. Oh, quite a wise decision.
Now is a time for action. It is the orders phase.
So the French are acting first, and they're just spoilt for too many choices. Do we charge with the Hussars here? The Hussars have got couple of squares with a little bit of disorder, and the Uhlans are just sitting there. So that's one option. Another option is these guys could charge the flank there, but that leaves them open to counter-charging by the Uhlans and the Cossacks together over there. So they've formed a column there. That's about the best thing they could do. Do we try and take the hill again with these guys, although the Russians have rallied up and they are fully healthy there? Or do we try and charge with the dragoons, but the square has rallied up as well, so there's no disorder on there. And this unit's in the barricades, could charge one of them, but everyone's healthy. The annoying Russians have done a lot of successful rallying, so there's no real obvious choices. But I've been talking up the Hussars, so let's just go for it with the Hussars. We're going to do a move order, so we'll get these 2 units to charge the Uhlans, and this unit will have a go at one of the squares here. Why not? Let's see what happens. So we've got 2 on the Uhlans and 1 on that square. So I'm going to do this one first. It'll give me 2 dice. Sides are on a +6, so I will do the Uhlans first. +6, so 6 plus 1. Oh no! The Uhlans have rolled a 1. That's not good for them. And the Hussars get +1 for outnumber, so they'll be +7 to these. So 7 plus 1 is 8, and 7 plus 12. So the Uhlan commander is valiant, so he could re-roll a 1 or a 2 if he was attacking in combat. So he's stuck with that result. So the Uhlans are broken, and these guys cop 1 disorder each. Okay, so the squares +1, -1, -1 for the casualty, and +1 for a strong position. And the Hussars are on a 6 as well. They're both on 6, so it's just a straight roll off. The red dice is the Jaeger. Whoops. The Jaeger have rolled a 1. Oh, well, I've tried to find a bit more factors, but if you roll a 1, you roll a 1. I can't really help that. The only good thing about playing against AI is that the AI doesn't sit there complaining about its dice rolling, but it just has to cop it. Well, we all have to cop it, but it's nice to have a bit of a whinge about your dice sometimes. I know I do it. We all do it. But that's unfortunate for the Russians. But we can rejoice in the charge of the Hussars. So the Hussars have all taken one disorder each, but they have broken through. All right, well, the Russians are definitely going to interrupt. Let's try and find them the most logical thing to do. And I've been making some changes to the AI, just some little tweaks to give some more important things a higher priority. And one would be, no, I don't know sure why it is, but I just reformed that infantry there. They've formed a column. But then the Russians, I can't remember what order that happened, but anyway, they sort of changed formation into a column, and then the Russians moved up to threaten them with their cavalry. So it's going to be a charge from the Russian cavalry this time. Looks like they are in a good position, although the Uhlans will be charging across the rough terrain. It'll cost them 2 momentum. They'll be down to 7.
Actually, it'll cost them 3 momentum.
Will be able to,
I'll fix that up later on,
position themselves to go across the defences there and take on the French. Bit of a blunder on my part probably. And then the Cossacks, make sure they're in range. Yeah, the Cossacks, let's get the Cossacks in there as well. So the Cossacks will come in and give them an outnumber bonus. So don't ask me how the French got themselves in this pickle, but anyway. So the French, they're on 6, -1, because they've got a casualty on them, and -4 for a poor formation. So that's -5. So they'll be on a 1. And the Russians, the Uhlans, will be +1 for a friend. So they're +1 for outnumber, but -1 for the difficult ground. And same, the Cossacks, sorry. The Cossacks will be on +5 and the Uhlans on +6. So I'll do the French first. They're on +1. So the French roll. Well, you might think I'm doctoring these dice. I'll put that dice in there. I'll do the Uhlans. They are on +6. Well, there you go. The Uhlans have rolled well. And then the Cossacks, they'll be the Black Pips. Here are the Cossacks. They're on +5. Well, the Cossacks rolled a 1. So lucky the Uhlans are there. Oh, the Cossacks can re-roll because their commander's there. He is valiant. So the Cossacks can roll a 3. Well, there we go. There's the final result. The French fought bravely. I think it'll be about 12 to 7. They've lost by 3, so the French break. And so at the end of the combat, they're no longer engaged. Cavalry cop a disorder. Well, that was pretty decisive. So the French will react. And I'm not sure what to do, but I think I might volley, maybe put a few hits. I can see some shots here and there. So yeah, let's go for a volley. Okay, so the guard and the square here. So the square will have 1 dice at them. The guard will have 1 and 2 from a central base there. So 2, 1 there and 1 there. So 4 dice. 4 dice at the Cossacks, which seemed like a juicy target there. So 4 dice, 4s. 2 hits. And convert them on the 3s, I think. So 1. So the Cossacks take an extra 1. So we did 1 on the Cossacks. I'll just remember that I did 1 there. And then I'm going to go up here and try and put some disorder on those guys up in the main Fleches there. So I'll have 6 from the line and 2 from the column at them. So it'll be 8 dice, needing 5s behind the defences. We've tried this before. Let's see if we can do something. So 3 hits, that's not too bad. 3 hits, see if we can convert them. And we put 2 on them. 2 on them this time. Now this is the important one. I wanted to put at least a hit or something on this square before the Dragoons went in. So this, I'll get 1 shot at them there, and this I'll get 1 and 1 on the back, 2 on the 2 dice on the back line. So just 1 dice on the square. Hits. Oh, yep, that's what we wanted. 1 hit on the square. least to put something on them. Casualty, proper casualty for them. There we go. And one on the line in front over there, just a pot shot. And no, and then 2 dice on the guys behind. That's all they can get that. One. Yeah, one on the line behind there. Alright, well we just wanted to put something on that square before we charged. Okay, so the Russians will interrupt, and if we look at the AI now, what have they got? They've got infantry form square if cavalry threaten. Well, they've already done that. And their next option is to bombard, and they don't have any artillery left, so volley. Is volley a good option at the moment? They could put some hurt back there, although they don't have only really one good shot. So the next one is to rally, and the obvious one is to rally the guys in those defences. We just can't well, we're trying to rally the square, but the guys in the defences are probably the most important thing. So again, the Russians are... Okay, so a rally, they've got 2 hits on them, and the CNC, he's actually been used for... So we'll put him back in the trees because he used his ability to get more momentum, so he can't influence this time. So he's no use to them. And so they will rally on 3s though. Oh, they take 1 permanent hit. Well, at least we're wearing them down. So they've got 1 on them that they can't get rid of. Okay, so the dogs. Okay, so the French are going to try again to take the central position. Get those dogs now. Okay, so we've tried this before, but now at least we have 1 disorder on those musketeers in the defences. So it'll cost us again 1 to charge, 1 for the rough ground, and 1 for... So we're down to 2 momentum, but in they go again. This time for sure. Well, probably not, but we've got to have a go. Probably the next logical thing to do. So the Russians are on +1 for defending the defences, but -1 for their casualty. And the French are all healthy, so they're on 6, but -1 for the terrain, but +1 for outnumbering. So there's 6s all round. So it doesn't really matter which dice is which. The red ones are the Russians. Oh, so the French will win by 1. So they're going to bounce back again. Everybody will take a disorder. But that 1 battalion have just held on there. We're going to have to send up the guard or send the cavalry in to get rid of them. But all right, so that's it. The Russians will interrupt. Okay, so looking at the Russian AI, there's no cavalry charges, no infantry. Infantry are going to form square because they are threatened by the mighty hussars. So that's option. So they're going to do a global order of a formation change, which could be used all over the place. It's a global order, so let's have a look. The Jaeger and the Musketeers here are threatened by these cavalry, so they're going to form square. Keeps them safe from the marauding hussars. And then I've got the unit up in the Fleches there. They could be over helping their friends bravely defending. So an attack column there. So they're ready to go and support their mates up in the Fleches there. So they form a column. They're sick of seeing their friends fighting off the charges all alone. And then over on the left flank here, I think the best option for these guys, it's the only way for them to get really into a position where they could charge. And while they're at it with all those dragoons there, these guys will also form square because the dragoons could sweep past them and get stuck into that line. So they're going to form square as well. So it's a large formation change. Made the most of that order. So some squares have formed in front of the dragoons and some columns have formed on the French left flank. Okay, well, before the Russians get a chance to rally, they've got one hit on that square, and I think that's my... We've already seen one square broken. Let's see if the French can do it again. So the Dragoons are shock cavalry, so it'll cost one momentum to charge, and another one will be a complication because they're going to charge across some difficult terrain, so it'll use up all the French momentum, but they're going to go for it. Fighting chance with an outnumber. So the Dragoons have gone in. Okay, by my calculation, the square is on +1 for a good formation, defending a strong position, so that'd be a +1, but -1 for the casualty, so that'll put them on a 6. And then this unit of Dragoons will be on a -1 for their casualty, -1 for the terrain, but +1 for having outnumbering. So they will be on a 5, and these ones will be on a +1 for outnumber, -1 for the terrain. So they'll be on a 6. So 6 and 5 versus 6. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'll do the square first. So they're getting +6 to this. Oh no, it's happened again. The Dragoons that are on +5. Oops, so they're on 9, and the Dragoons that are on +6. So that is the final score. Okay, well, in the nick of time, I remember that the Russian commander is actually steadfast, so they can re-roll it. So the square will be saved. It was saved anyway, can't lose. It's not going to lose by too much, but it ends up with a 3. By my calculation then, it's 9, 9, 8. So the square has drawn and actually beat one of the cav by 1. So there's no effect on the square. They're okay, but the cavalry will fall back and cop 1 disorder. So a close run thing, but the Dragoons have failed. The square has held, so not all squares break. So at the end of that charge combat, the Dragoons have bounced back. These guys have bounced back. The only real success I had was with the Hussars, but now the Russians have got 4 momentum to spend, and they have free rein to do whatever they like. So the AI is in a good position. They changed formation last activation, and these guys have formed columns over here ready to charge. Those guys have all formed square in front of the cavalry. These guys are bravely hanging on. I can't seem to break them. And now they've had a breakthrough with the Uhlans and the Cossacks. And then this unit's formed a column there to be able to defend the Fleches there. The Hussars are the bright note. They are still going, but everyone's formed square in front of them. And the Guard, it's time for the Guard and the Swiss to do something, but maybe next turn. But next turn, things looking grim on the hill for the French. So now the AI will take over. Let's see what it's going to do. So if you look at the AI, all the cavalry have charged. So that's all they can do. I did move the other Cossacks. I'll just cheat a bit. I forgot to give them a move, so they will just move up there as well. Forgot about the other Cossacks hanging up the back there. Anyway, and then the infantry will form square if threatened, but they're already done that. Bombard's no good. Volley, well, that might be the option before some of those columns charge, and the squares could have a few pot shots as well. So they've got plenty of momentum, so they'll spend 1 and do a volley, do a bit of shooting. This square will have a pot shot at the Hussars. Already done one on them. No, they missed. So that's that one. There's no shooting there. They're all out of range. And they're out of range, so the defenders there will have a shot. And they'll have 6 dice. So 4s. 2 hits. Ooh, 2. The square will have a shot at say, the unit of cavalry in front of them. and the Opalcini have a shot at the other cavalry. So the Opalcini get weak fire, but they've got one base there in range. So the Opalcini miss, and the square hits. See if the square can do an actual damage. Yes. So these guys, cavalry now, have taken 3. And then up on the corner here, so these 2 columns are going to shoot at these guys before they charge, and they'll get 2 dice each column, so 4 shots. 2 hits, and 1 hit on them. Now they've got 3 momentum left, and their options would be maybe to rally, but they can see a very good opportunity on this flank here, and it'll cost them a fair bit of momentum to actually pull this charge off. So if we have a look over here, we've got the 2 columns, so they will cost 1 to charge, 1 for the rough ground, and 1 for the order. So they're all complications, so it's going to cost them 3 momentum to charge. Alright, so this could be decisive. Just 6, but -1 for the casualty, and the Russians are both on 6, but -1 for the terrain, the rough terrain they're charging through, but +1 because of outnumber. So 2 6s versus a 5. So I will do the French first. Let's do the defenders first. The French. Ooh, they've got a 5. And then the 2 Russian columns. Oh. The Russian combat dice just keep coming up 1s. Honestly, they do. I just can't believe it. They don't have any re-rolls or anything. So we'll go to the results. So the French are on 10, and the 2 Russian columns are on 7. Well, you wouldn't read about it. But the attackers have lost by 3s. It's only cavalry that would upset them, so they're just going to bounce back and take some disorder. So, vive la France! The French have held on. So, very hard to assault if you roll 1s, and very hard to defend if you roll 1. So that looks like the end of turn 5. The Russians have suffered a few casualties. They've lost 4 units. The French have only lost 2. But I think the Russians are hanging on, and they're in a very strong position. It looks pretty good for the Russians, but it's going to maybe the Hussars can make a difference. The Russian columns have held that position. They bounced back. The Dragoons failed to break the square, but that was probably to be expected. The fight for the middle defences still rages on, and it looks a bit dangerous now because the Uhlans have moved up, so they're in a position now to charge them, but the Guard are still lurking, and the Swiss, and the Hussars. So the Hussars are being foiled by the Jaegers and so on, forming square in front of them, but the Hussars might turn their attention now towards the middle. So turn 6 will be decisive. We will see a victor in turn 6, I think. Okay, well, thanks for watching, viewers. I think the AI's wants to check the dice to see if they roll anything besides 1. So we'll give these dice a check. And look, there you go. There's no 1s there. No 1s. Oh, the dice aren't loaded. There's another couple that I was using. No, look, they can roll 6s. So the dice definitely aren't loaded, but the AI is complaining about the poor dice rolling. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and we'll see what happens on turn 6. We should have a conclusion. Some desperate situations look like. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you for turn 6. Bye for now.